Good day, Mr. Chairman, the panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, and my worthy opponents, my audience. My name is Muhammad Kamal Jibril, and I am of the opposition. On the motion of graduate employability, we take a clear and uncompromising stance. We hold the school, the institution, and the system behind it primarily responsible for producing unemployable graduates. We are not saying that graduates are saints. We are saying that when a factory continues to produce faulty products, you do not audit the product first, you audit the factory that it came from. Let me define my terms briefly. Graduate unemployability refers to a state in which you are not just jobless, but lacking the skills, exposure, and readiness that makes a graduate fit for meaningful work. The school refers to our tertiary institutions, universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, and the education system that designs the curriculum, teaching style, and assessments that is used to grade all of us here in this audience. And blame in this context is what I use to define primary blame in a matter. My thesis is simple. When an education system is outdated, theoretical, disconnected from industry, and more focused on certificates than competence, the school must carry the main blame for unleashing unemployable graduates into the labor market. And I will prove this in 3 points. 1, the school designs the graduates. A faulty system produces faulty outputs, as we all know. 2, the curriculum is dangerously disconnected from industry reality. And 3, the school kills practical exposure and soft skills, then pretends to be surprised at unemployability. My first point. Before a person becomes a graduate, they spend a minimum of 4 years and a maximum of 5 years here in Nigeria within a university to get their degree. The school chooses the curriculum. The school decides what is important. And the school decides how to teach and what to examine us on. So if thousands of graduates are leaving every year without the skills employers need, we must ask, what exactly are these schools doing with them for years? In this very country, for example, the STU10 2018 graduate report surveyed over 5,000 graduates and found that about 28.9% were unemployed. But that is not the point I'm making here. They also found that the report highlighted a major skills mismatch. Graduates lack the abilities that the labor market demands. A mismatch between what the market needs and what the graduate has is not just the graduate's fault, it is also the failure of the institution that trained it. A common example is when you see a school with successful graduates, they gladly claim those people. But you also know that from that very institution, there are people that are still there today after their 5 or 6 years, covering their spillover courses. If you send a student into a 5-year engineering program and they graduate without basic design, problem solving, or software skills, who structured that program? Obviously, the school. If law students are taught case theory but never drilled in real advocacy or legal tech, who planned that? The school. And this translates directly into my second point. The curriculum is disconnected from industry reality. Across Africa and beyond, countless studies say the same thing. Our curriculum is outdated. It is heavy on theory and light on application. In 2017, a paper on Nigeria graduate unemployability concluded that many employers consider graduates generally not employable because they lack relevant job skills, not because they lack degrees. Employers complain that graduates know the definitions of terms but cannot apply the knowledge of those terms into their day-to-day activities in the office. And if a curriculum refuses to change while the world of work is changing every year, unemployability is not an accident, it is a design flaw. In some studies on graduate unemployment, the problem is clearly linked to lack of practical exposure and weak soft skills, both of which are supposed to be nurtured in school environments for that 3 to 5 years I mentioned earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about graduate unemployability, we are not talking about one lazy individual. We are talking about a pattern. Thousands of young people finishing school and still not fit for work. Patterns point to systems, not just people. The school chose the curriculum. The school chose the teaching methods, and the school refused to adapt to the 21st century labor market. Therefore, in assigning blame, we must be honest and courageous. The school, as an institution and as a system, bears primary responsibility for graduate unemployability. Thank you very much.